Before we get too far, we come across an olive farm, and we stop and have a look. This is why I like to get a car and make my own itinerary. You have the ability to change your plans on a dime. You can't make spontaneous changes to your itinerary when you're on some overpriced tour speeding you from Rome to Paris. Inside the store, Frederick Nebio and his wife proudly display the fruits of their labors. And everything is sourced and produced locally.
Donc ça c'est les olives de novembre, au début de la récolte, des olives plutôt vertes.
Olive de November?
La récolte, the harvest, is in November, December.
Okay. Although Frederick used French with me, he speaks very good English. For information on tours of the mill or to stay at his B&B, contact the Nebio family at the website below. Back on the road, we turn at the bridge. And we are on our way. Incidentally, the light in Lacoste is famous. People come from all around the world to paint and take pictures under its glow. In Lacoste, we look for the large letter P in the blue box. It directs us to a parking area in a shady field. Town is this way. The population of Lacoste is less than 600 people. The oldest buildings date back to the 9th century. There's a trail that cuts down through the valley, taking hikers and bikers to Bonheur. It's about 45 minutes on foot. We're aiming for a chateau with a rather ominous past. It was owned by Donatien Alphonse Francois Comte de Sade, also known as the Marquis de Sade. Following a series of incidents with local women, Sade was forced to flee his home and eventually the country. But he was later captured and imprisoned. The castle was destroyed in an uprising in 1779 and later looted by the locals. The most recent owner is fashion designer Pierre Cardin. Cardin has undertaken to restore the place, all 42 rooms. He added a theater and during the summer holds cultural events there. We pause a moment to admire the view, then we press on to the castle. The way to the castle is along this creepy little trail. Honestly, it wouldn't be such a bad walk if it wasn't for that sinister music playing in the background. On top, there isn't much to see, and since it's now a private residence, it's closed to visitors. There are a few pieces of art. To be honest, they are not quite my taste. And that got me thinking about lunch. Restaurant Sade is very good, but we had a pizza there the first time we visited Lacoste. So today we're trying Café de France. You know the cafe is good from the number of old French guys sitting outside drinking wine. The inside of Café de France is tastefully decorated. This painting has a Marquis de Sade flair. But we're going outdoor for our lunch, which means outside. We can't pass up a meal with this kind of view. We order from the menu du jour. Sharon gets a tarte du jour, and I get the moussaka maison. Our meals end with a dessert made of yogurt and raspberries. And while the old men at the cafe go on solving the world's problems, we stop by a museum. It's not well marked. You'll have to be on the lookout for it to see it. This was life in the 1600s, when you made your own bread, and cured your own meat, and crushed your own grapes into wine. And just down from the museum is the Lacoste branch of the Sade Art School, which takes students from around the world. And with our visit to the past, we say au revoir to Lacoste. On the way back home to Ile-sur-la-Sorgue, our home base, we stopped to take in a vineyard. These grapes are bursting with juice and ready for harvest. It's all we can do not to pick a bunch and eat them in the car. We took a chance and stopped at a small family winery, but the owner told us in no uncertain terms that they didn't waste time on tourists. He motioned to my license plate that ended in 60, which in France means it's a rental. I get it. Tourists don't buy much, and they take up a lot of the owner's time. I'm not saying don't visit the small family-owned wineries, but you might be sent on your way. For a sure thing, stick to the larger ones, like Cave de Bonheur. They'll speak English, have 3 to 4 people working the tasting room, and offer tours of the terroir and their cellars. But I wanted to see the real thing. These young people were thrilled that I would take the time to stop and ask them questions about their work. Don't be afraid to reach out. Back in the day, 30 years ago, hardly anyone spoke English. Today, most everyone speaks at least a little. And before I left, they gave me some grapes for the road. These young people are an example of the friendly kind of folk you'll find in small towns all over France. Are you ready to come to Lacoste? And I don't mean as part of a bus tour with 60 other Americans breathing down your neck. Lacoste wouldn't even make their itinerary. And on a bus tour, you won't stumble on this time-warped museum or chat with an olive oil producer one-on-one or make friends in the vineyard. You'll turn the wrong way, get lost several times, maybe choose the worst restaurant in town, but those glitches are part of the fun. So bring your appetite. I'll meet you at the cafe.